This is our 8.2 in a video series I call Design and Code My Personal Website in 12 Hours. In the last video, we marked up and styled the articles section, and in this video, we're going to be using the power of Jekyll to add posts to our blog and use a Jekyll loop to pull them into the homepage. This is really cool. This is the main reason we are using Jekyll now as our site builder. So let's get into it. All right, we're picking up right where we left off in our last video, and our job right now is to create a space where we can start to build articles and also get those articles looping through here. And so we want their thumbnails. If I just hover over one of these things, we see that we want the thumbnail and we want the name and the date. So we need to build a loop as well that pulls this information from the articles, puts it on our page. So let's start with the articles. In Jekyll, to build articles, you go into, you just create a new folder, and you call it underscore, not in assets, no. You call it underscore posts. Now, posts is a magic folder in Jekyll. Anything that you put into posts becomes content for an article. Let me take you over to Jekyll. And if you go to Jekyll, there's great documentation about that. Go to documentation section and the link here, writing posts. Now this will give you a template for the naming of the files. So let's grab this here. Let's just grab that there. And I want to add a new file and I want to name it this. So the naming structure is that the year, the month, and the day, and then the name of the post, and then the extension can be either MD for Markdown or .html, whatever you want. So I'm going to use Markdown, and then in here I need to put something called head matter. We talk about head matter in this thing? Here we are. Head matter. Head matter is a Jekyll. It's not Jekyll. It's a YAML thing. So you need 3 dashes and then 3 dashes. Inside of those 3 dashes, I'm going to put some very important key value pairs. The first one is the template, or rather the layout. The first one is the template that it's going to be using. So when this, what is it called? This blog post is rendered, right? It's going to create a new HTML page for it. When it's rendered, where is it going to place that content? So you need to make a layout for it. And we're going to use default. Now, what is default? When you go back to here to layouts and click default, that's what that is. So it's just going to stick it in right here like naked. It's going to be very boring. But you could make one, you could make a layouts, template that's like, specifically for blog posts. And it would be, special. It would have like a blog header or something like that. And in here you would say layout posts, right? But we're not doing that. We're just Okay, we're just doing default. The next thing I need for my purposes is the title. And this one I'll call New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. Eve is awesome. And then the last bit of information I need is that we talked about here. All right, so I have the date that comes from the name of the file itself, and I have the article name. New Year's Eve is awesome. I just need the thumbnail. So all right, thumbnail. That's not how you spell thumbnail. And I need the URL to the thumbnail. In this case, I have already loaded here assets, images, posts, thumbnails. So I have post-1, a thumbnail that I can just use right here. It's this lady's face, and where was it? Here we are. I'll say post-1.jpg, or no, this is a ping. All right, and then in each of these blogs, you can have content. So I'll just write hello world. Okay, so now we have the layout, the title, the thumbnail, and then we have some content in our post. Let's just Command W to get rid of that page, and then Command W to get rid of that image. Okay, and let's get rid of all these templates, or these mix-in templates here, and bring back this down into here. Now we're going to make a Jekyll loop. A Jekyll loop works like this. So I want to go inside of the article wrap, and I want to grab the thing that I want to loop, which is the article thumb, right? I want that thumb to repeat itself for however many articles there are. And we're going to just make a liquid loop like this. And we'll say for however many posts there are in my site.posts, make this loop. And then right here we'll write end for. See what we got. Great. So we just have one face, and it's still the same styles as everything, but there's only one of them, and hover is not working for some reason. Why are you working, hover? Oh, article meta is not a child anymore. In our paste, it got messed up. All right, cool. So I'm going to make a bunch of articles to fill up this space here. Now, these are not going to be real actual articles, just they're like throwaway text files to show you guys how this works. And then later on, I'll go and get my, get all my files from my old blog. But let me show you how it works. I actually created a bunch of meaningless text files right here and named them accordingly. I'm going to drag them into my new proj, and save. All right, so I should have a filmery for every one of these projects. Notice that I have 13 of them because I added 12 and I have 13. So I have this like weird extra one here. I don't want that weird extra one. So I'm going to go up into my loop and I'll say limit 12. And if there's extras, they'll just not be shown beyond 12. And then the user can use this See All Articles button, right? So we want to keep it at 12 because 12 divides well by 4 and by 3 also, and it looks good. So let's do this loop. The first thing we know is that the what are these things called? The thumbnails are not going to be filmery. They're going to be in my assets, image, and what was it? The path is going to be posts, thumbnails. Posts, thumbnails, slash, and then we're going to use the ancient art of the nothing. Then we're going to use this tag, which is you say post, thumbnail. And that's just calling in the thumbnail, which if we go back to any of these posts is going to be right here. So it's going to be post.thumbnail is going to call in that image right there. Next is we want to say the article name is going to be very similar. What was it? Post.title. Was it title? Title. Yep. And then this last thing is going to be post.date, and save and refresh and save and refresh. Come on you. What happened? Where are my thumbnails? Assets, image, posts, thumbnails, post thumbnail, post my date. It's all wrong. Okay. Here's what went wrong. I'm calling the object of post, but up here I said for posts, when it should be for post, singular. Basically, whatever I say right there after the for is what I'm creating an object of later on down the road. So now here they all show up because now it's post and I'm calling post title. So that's what happened there. Now each of these have a unique date and a unique title. See this one? And it's got its own title. The rest of these have same title because I just copy and pasted them. But let's figure out this date. Date. Let's say liquid date. So Jekyll uses the liquid templating language. So I just Googled liquid template date. Liquid for designers, that makes sense. And find date. Date. Syntax reference for date. So the date filter on a liquid tag looks like this. You put the bar and then date and then all these little doodads here. So we go like this, and then we get the date. Now we get the date written out. Monday, July 1st, 2013. I don't really want the day of the week, so I don't need the A comma here. And if I do a capital Y, see how it says 13? If I do a capital Y, it gives me the whole year. Say 2013. That's exactly how I want the date formatted. Cool. And one thing I noticed before we move along too far, I noticed that when it's wide, these article, they look okay with the titles, you know, but when it gets a little too small and teeny, this is no good. This is no bueno. There's a few things that we can do to help that. Number one, sorry. Number one is we go to this name and we'll say line height, like 1.2, like 1.2. So check it out first. Looks like that, and then we'll hit 1.2. And then it looks like that. So it's going to be a little bit tighter, and that's okay for a headline, but it doesn't fix everything. So what we need to do is we need to find the point where it becomes unbearable, which is right about there, right about there. 999. Okay, so we're gonna make a new media query. And then max width is going to be 1,000. Well, we can say 999 because we're like that. If we want to be so specific, so 999. So if it gets smaller than 999, what do we want to do? I want to take these article thumbs. Take the article thumb and make its width no longer 25%. 25% is a quarter, which means there's 4, so we want them to be 3 in the row. Make them bigger, make them 3 in a row. Make them 3 in a row, and then you'll have more space for the content, and also, like, excuse my hiccup. See this right here? When it gets too small, the bottom, oh, did you see that? Look at that. It shifts up. There's all this space there. That would not happen if we had 3 in a row. So we want to say width equals to 33.3%. That's a third. And we want to save. Come on, show me some love. Article thumb. Is the specificity not right? Should be good. Should be. Oh, it says max width. Width. Max width. Okay. So silly. Okay, so we have 4, and then come past 999, and then we have 3. So we're not going to have that gap at the bottom, and also these are not going to be too small that, you know, our thumbnail is not going to be able to show us all that lovin' of the title lovin' that we need. Cool. And then let's look at it when it gets to mobile. That is freaking large. So let's do this. We'll say max width and min width, our mobile size, so 640 pixels. That means it's only going to be limited to 642. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you. Right here. See this green? That green is the media query we just wrote. So if it's inside of that green, it's going to have three articles wide. If it's outside of that green, it's going to have the 4. So it goes to the 4, the 3, and then back to the 4 when we hit mobile. Now we're back to iPhone size, whatever. You can't hover over an iPhone anyway, it doesn't matter. Cool. So I wanted to take care of that, and that's tooken care of. Straight tooken, you know what I mean? Straight tooken care of. And that, my friends, is how you add articles to a Jekyll. Oh, let's click one and see what happens. Nothing happened. I'm glad I tried to click it. Let me show you why. So what I need to do is go in here and go to the ref and say post.url. That'll do it, because each post has a URL. Now when I click this, I get that hello world. Fantastic. All right, that's it for this video. In the next part of this hour, we're going to be adding a little bit more pizzazz onto these articles. Man, that was cool. Did you see that part where I was like typing and stuff and like things were happening on the screen? Yeah, man, that was like the best. I'll see you tomorrow for hour 8.3, where we add some unnecessary but fun sparkle with JavaScript. Keep on hacking.